Everyone please stand. Can you do a motion, please?
Lord, our most gracious and heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for another great day, Lord, that you've blessed us with, Lord. Lord, we ask, Lord, that you would be with us tonight, Lord, as we conduct our business, Lord, for Westmoreland, Lord. We hope, Lord, that you got your hand upon each one of us, Lord Jesus. Lord, we ask, Lord, that you would be with each one, Lord, that's in this crowd, Lord, tonight. Lord, that will accept our decisions, Lord, as being the will of you and yours, Lord. Lord, we ask, Lord, that you would be with every one of us, Lord, going home. Lord, I always remember, Lord, that you give your life for each one of us. If there's one, Lord, that's lost in our crowd tonight, Lord, we hope that he would find you, Lord, Jesus, before he gets home. Lord, in your holy and precious name, amen.
Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We appreciate everyone coming out tonight. Everyone's wondering what's on the agenda that has attracted everyone, but we're glad that you're here. I might remind everyone that if you want to speak and you're not on the agenda, we have a list here for you to sign up. We may have to limit some time tonight on public comments, but we do welcome them. Ms. Carter, would you like to call the roll?
Mayor Kirkman.
Here.
Councilmember Ricky Klein.
Present.
Kim Farley.
Here.
David Harrison.
Here.
Brian Smallman.
Here.
Okay, we've established a quorum, so we will begin the meeting. Next item is to adopt the agenda. I would like to ask that one item be added to the agenda for tonight. It will be Resolution R-032015-1. And also, I would like to move the citizens' recognition to the beginning of the meeting. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Just excuse me, you got to amend it first.
Yeah,
Okay. Make a motion to amend the agenda.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to amend the agenda. All in favor? Or any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Now we'll vote on to adopt the agenda.
Make a motion to adopt.
We have a motion
Second.
and we have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Okay, motion carries.
I'm sorry, but did Kim say, did you say aye? Okay. I can't see who's saying aye.
Chief, if you would like to come up and do your presentation at this point. So.
Yes, sir. Which one we got here? Tim Authority. There's only two we've got here.
Okay.
Mayor, council, all the citizens present. This is a accommodation for Auxiliary Officer Timothy Farley and Officer Ray Amalfitano. I'm writing this letter in commendation concerning the events of January 7, 2015. On the date mentioned at approximately 20:44 hours, a traffic accident occurred on 52 East in Macon County, Tennessee, just across the line, right outside the Westmoreland Police Department's jurisdiction. Westmoreland's first on the scene were Auxiliary Officer Timothy Farley, Dispatcher Kimberly Eagle, and Fireman Thomas Eagle. Timothy Farley heard the crash and responded to the scene, notifying the Westmoreland Police Department. Dispatchers Katrina Graves, Caitlin Owen, Kimberly Eagle, Thomas Eagle arrived on the scene as passerbys. Officer Ray Amalfitano and Sergeant James Pugh were dispatched to the scene and worked with Auxiliary Officer Farley to free one entrapped occupant, while Dispatcher Kimberly Eagle and Fireman Thomas Eagle administered first aid to the one ejected occupant. All of you worked tremendously hard to assist the Macon County Sheriff's Department and the Westmoreland Fire Department. I'd like to thank all of you for your commitment to the citizens of Westmoreland and the surrounding counties. Your actions were selfless and nonetheless heroic. Your ability to work with other agencies and multiple departments makes me proud and reflects the positive attitudes of you all. A special thank you to the Westmoreland Volunteer Fire Department for your quick response and commitment you all have to our community. Tim, Ray.
Don't get in between me and the mayor.
Benny, would you like to read the other
Yes,
ones that are
ma'am.
not present, please, so I can document it, please?
Okay. The other people involved in this were Sergeant James Pugh, Fireman Thomas Eagle, Dispatcher Kimberly Eagle, Dispatcher Katrina Graves, and Dispatcher Caitlin Owen.
Very good.
Thank you.
There's Officer Brewer out there in this crowd.
He's at work in Portland.
Okay. It seems like January and February has been a couple of months for heroes in Westmoreland. Several of them have been documented well in the newspaper, and I know you've heard stories and things that are happening. We are also very, very proud of each and every one of these individuals. Our police officers, our EMS official, our fire department officials, everyone who is a part of the city of Westmoreland, and that includes our public works guys and other people that are heroes every day. But we want to especially recognize one. He is not here tonight, but on January the 24th, he was at MAPCO, and he had the opportunity to save a gentleman's life as he had a heart attack right in front of him. And that's Officer Kevin Brewer. And we would like for you to present this to him.
Yes, sir.
And on behalf of the department and the city and all the council and myself,
I accept
you
on
very
behalf
much.
of Mr. Kevin Brewer. Thank you, sir.
appreciate it. Kristen Leaf. Come on up if you would. We're so very proud of you being at the public meeting that the industrial board was having that night. And I know Mr. Weaver is very proud you were there. And we're also very, very proud of you. And we have the certificate of recognition. It's not very much, but it says, the certificate of recognition and appreciation is presented to Kristen Leaf, having performed an act of service of a rare and exceptional character that reflects an uncommon degree of concern for the well-being of others on February the 24th, 2015. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Come over here so we can get the council in the background. Chief, you can come on over too.
Okay. Get this opened up for Brewer here.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
You say.
If you just-
Next item on the agenda is the public comment section. We have two. John David will be first.
Oh me, I'm not good at public speaking, and I'm not here to take anybody out of a job. I think I gave copies of the series of events I've dealt with out of the families here in Westmoreland that has happened to us since 2008. And just wanted it to be known, everybody to know about it. And I guess at this point I'm going to leave it in you guys' hands to tell me what I need to do to come to resolution on this. Because the reason my wife's not here, because she's afraid to even come to town, in fear of getting her tires slashed or some kind of vandalism to her vehicle. Documented no contact order in this, and nothing still has been done about it.
Okay. Would you mind waiting until we get to the police chief selection portion of the meeting, and we
Yes.
will discuss that at that
Absolutely.
time?
I have no trouble at all with that. Thank you.
Okay. Caleb Zwicky.
I have two things real quick. First of all, I know that's a really bad picture, but that's right across the street. There's a little concrete divider that's 32 feet long. I wasn't sure if I need council approval or whatnot, but Girl Scouts has offered to plant flowers around town, and they're asking if they can plant flowers there. I've talked to both Marty and Benny Hudgens, whoever is appointed chief. If a police officer is necessary, both of them said that they would appoint an officer just to make sure the girls are safe. I'll supply anything that they need, including tearing out the old roots of trees and getting mulch and fresh dirt there. So I wasn't sure if I needed to actually get permission to do that, or just, since it's just a beautification process technically. But it is on,
Will there be parents with the?
yes, there will be parents, there will be the Girl Scout troop leader, and I will even take off the day so I can be there. I will set up cones. Talked to Benny, he said he'll set up cones. Marty said he will, so I mean, whoever becomes chief, we've got a police officer there if need be. We've got parents there. We've got somebody actually coming together to try to beautify the town a little bit more.
I'll tell you, as part of the contract for mowing, what's the gentleman's name that does our mowing?
Keith Gregory.
Is it twice a year they put out fresh mulch? If you can, maybe we get in touch with Fred and find out when they're going to do that.
Okay.
They usually do it like in the spring and again in the fall, so there's no need in y'all going to
Okay.
buy mulch. That's already part. They come, so you might try to find out when they're planning on doing that and coordinate what y'all are
Yes,
planning
sir.
on doing about that same time, and it'll all come together at once.
Thank you very much for that.
What area is that, the plant?
This is actually right across the street, Frida. There's a 32-foot concrete divider right across
Oh,
the
okay.
road on Austin P. And,
That's where he puts the mulch. is
Yes.
where-
And the second thing, I'm sure some of y'all have heard about this, but two very, very great gentlemen have decided to give a giant hand down at the little tunnel. My family and I went down there Sunday, and we ended up getting over 6 bags 30-gallon trash bags of garbage, along with a couple 5-gallon buckets, and we saw those tires. Some other people went down, Michelle cleaned up some litter, but James Clark ended up pulling out more than half of those tires out of the mud and dirt just to get them up. I helped him a little bit, and then between James Clark, which he's hiding somewhere back there, and this new officer right here, Mr. David Langston, ended up carrying more than half up the hill so we could dispose of them. The only problem is I didn't get a hold of Tim Farley to let him know that we were putting them beside the community building. So, but I just want to give those gentlemen a big round of applause. They did a lot of work, and I think they deserve a little bit of recognition for it. Now I'll get out of y'all's hair.
Thank you, Kevin. We appreciate that and all the hard work, because that is a tremendous climb back up out of the old road or train bed there.
It is.
Next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the February 19th, 2015 meeting.
Make a motion to accept as read.
We have a motion
Second.
and we have a second. Any discussion? Okay. Hearing no discussion, would you like to do a roll call vote on that, Ms. Frida?
Klein,
Yes.
Farley, Harrison,
Yes.
and Smalling.
Yes.
4 yes.
Motion carries. Next item is the financial statement for February.
I'll make a motion we pass February's financial statement as printed.
Second.
We have a motion and a proper second to the motion. Any discussion?
Can I make a comment, please?
Yeah.
Since no one brought it up, Brian had noticed it. If you will notice over in your water and sewer, your water fund, under salaries, there's $20,567. That is the regular salaries for the people that's assigned to the water fund. And also, we had one employee that during budget time, he was assigned to be paid out of the water fund. And he has been mistakenly being paid out of Public Works Fund. So if you'll go back to Public Works in the general fund, you will notice there's a credit there. I got with our auditor, John Poole. He advised me to make a journal entry to move the money that had been mistakenly paid out of general fund over to water fund. And that's exactly what I did, and that was in the total of $15,400 for salary, $1,180 for Social Security, making the total transfer of $16,580.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Any other discussion? Hearing none, do a roll call vote.
Farley. Yes. Harrison.
Yes.
Smalling.
Yes.
And Klein.
Yes.
4 yes.
Motion carries. Next item under old business is the approval of the IDB board member, Roger Trout. This will be for a 1-year term, and I believe it is for the position of William Green, where he resigned.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion to put Roger Trout on the IDB board.
We have a second. Any other discussion? We'll do the roll call vote when you're ready.
Harrison.
Yes.
Smalling.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
And Farley. Yes. 4 yes.
Motion carries. Roger, we appreciate your willingness to serve on the Industrial Development Board. And in 1 year, we look forward to renewing it for a longer term. Next item on the agenda is the police chief selection. We have interviewed and we have taken MTAS recommendations. Unfortunately, because of all the delays, there has been sickness in some of the families. In one position, there's been a death in the family. So it has been narrowed down at this time, and the council has interviewed both of these candidates in open forums. So everyone had the opportunity to hear the comments and suggestions and all things considered with these two candidates, Marty Cothran and our interim chief, Benny Hudgens. Now there has been some items happening in the last few days, which is what Mr. David was relating to, and we will ask him to come up at this time. And Chief, if you would like to come up, and we'll get this hashed out because we want to vote on a chief tonight. We've been without a chief for way too long.
That's one of the things I was saying. If a town don't have a police department they can trust, protect, and serve their sworn oath, then you might as well not even call yourself a town. There's no excuse for lawless people to run rampant through anywhere, doing as they please and treating people as they please. Westmoreland Police Department has been made aware of this on and off since 2008. I know they've tried to do what they could. We had some things we told Benny. We tried to hand deliver the no contact order. And pretty much the answer to the whole situation was blocking us on Facebook, and the answer to one of the emails was, yep.
Now, if you would you like to tell us a little bit about the situation that you're speaking with?
The particular family in town, and a no contact order, which includes in writing to obey all laws and no contact with John David or any of his family, signed by Ken Witcher, and it was all made out by, I believe, Davin Cripps, who's the district attorney from Macon County. We had an issue up here where my minor 16-year-old daughter was working at 912. This particular person come by shouting obscenities and flicking birds. A report was made. We had a witness at the time as well. Benny Hudgens said that he was going to talk to Mrs. Scruggs, but he had no copy of the contact order, which at the time the no contact order was in grand jury, I believe, and we acquired a copy of it like a couple of days later, hand delivered it, emailed it, and faxed it to the police department, and that's where we're staying. The district attorney was waiting on him to do something so we could get her violated on this situation. But this is the same family that hooking chains out here in the town square, and there's just been so many events going on with them. And it's time for it to stop. It's time for it to stop. There's nothing personal against me and Benny, and I gave Mr. Hudgens the opportunity to, let's sit down and let's talk this out in case there was a misunderstanding on Facebook that night. And nothing has came of it.
Okay. Benny, your turn.
There was a little more said on Facebook than just yep. In the first place, Mr. David was putting the police department down. Kind of got under my skin. I got hot about it. I'm sorry. I reminded him. He told me, he said in his Facebook thing, it said something about he seen one of our officers had somebody pulled over. I just let him go. Didn't do nothing to him. I've got something here about that event. There were 2 citations issued to that subject. The licensed driver that was with him was made to move over into the driver's seat and drive away. So there was something done about that. The part about the protection order, I called our district attorney here in Sumner County, and he informed me that a hand gesture was not a means of contact and non-prosecutable in Sumner County. The night that Miss David come down and filled out the report, there was nothing said about obscenities being yelled. It was just that Miss David, Miss Tabitha David had flipped off his daughter. I get flipped off 7 or 8 times a day. I can't do anything about it. So, you know, I did what my district attorney told me.
Okay.
And the people he's talking about, they don't live in town. They live out off of, out in the county, out off of 31.
And there is now a no contact order in Sumner County as well for anybody in the family.
I have not received a copy of that.
Yeah, we just got that yesterday.
Okay. Now, my understanding of this is a divorce issue.
Well, not with us, no. It's with my son. But as far as all the harassment and stuff going on between me and the family, and my wife and the family, no, it don't have nothing to do with that.
But for your son, this is the same, part of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Has that divorce been finalized yet? Okay.
This was the last contact. I need this back. This was the last contact saying that she does not have a license or valid insurance, and there was his last reply. Yep.
She does have,
And
I
that's
checked
the
on
one
it.
that the citation
I checked on
issue.
Miss Tabitha. She does have a driver's license valid, and so does J.R. Scruggs.
Yeah, we know JR's got one.
Both of them have valid driver's licenses. I just checked it this week.
And we had Ron Smith run it the week that all this happened, and no, she does not. She didn't at the time.
She does.
She was valid for a Tennessee driver's license, but she didn't have one at the time. But either or, somebody running by and acting like it's a town when my daughter's trying to work over here, there's no excuse for it.
Okay. Any rebuttal to that?
No, sir, I agree with him. I wouldn't want anybody bothering my daughter either, but like I said, just flipping somebody off is not a crime.
Okay. Any closing
No,
remarks?
none that I know. None that I know. Just me and him should have worked this out instead of being a block on Facebook and having to come to this point in front of everybody.
I agree we should have, but at that point, it was had already got too heated, and I didn't feel like it could be worked out between me and Mr. David, that it needed to be worked out here.
No. Anything can be worked out with me.
Okay. Well, thank you for bringing all this to our attention.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. Cochran, I know you're back there somewhere.
Yeah.
Would you like to come up and make a statement to the council? Give you a couple minutes.
I just think it, you know, it's kind of hard to sit here in front of y'all and say, hey, you know, you got 2 officers here that's from this area. And I think either way it goes, it's going to be hard feelings either way, and I think the council's going to end up with a good chief. And it's a hard decision. It's going to be hard. It just depends, you know, on what the council wants. And I have feelings that there's some changes that needs to be changed and some things that doesn't need to be changed, but you know, that's here and there. You know, Billy's way of thinking is different from mine, and I've been doing it for 21 years. I've worked for a great department. You know, we do things a little different than we do in the cities, but we deal with things a little bit different. You know, it's just hard to sit here and say what needs to be changed. I'm not going to go into what things need to be changed, but there are some things that need to be changed. There's things that can be changed that can save the city some money. I'll say that in the long run. And I think those changes need to be addressed, whether it be by the chief or by this council. But there's a lot of things several things that need to be changed. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it up to y'all. Y'all make that determination whether you want some changes made or you want to let it go as it is. I'm going to leave it at that.
We appreciate you applying for it and interviewing, Marty. Good luck. Chief, would you like to make a comment to the council?
Mr. Mayor, Chairman, Like Marty said, we got 2 officers here, both of us, with plenty of experience to do the job. I've been doing it for the last 8 months, and been told I've been doing a good job. Feel like I've been doing a good job. The morale's high in the department. Everything's going good. I feel like that I'm more than qualified for the job myself. Marty also is probably. If the council sees fit for me to have the job, I'd love to continue to keep doing it and stay in Westmoreland and make Westmoreland a better place. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to do something just a little bit unorthodox right now. One of the things that was asked of the council was that the officers have a say in what happened as far as the chief selection. Tim, if you would come up, I don't know if the officers have discussed it with you or not, but we're going to ask for a recommendation from the department and the officers.
Putting me on the spot, or
That's all right.
You asked for it.
You can handle
You
it.
asked for
I
it.
ask for the department, I just me all the time. What do you want to know?
Just if you know, is there a consensus among the department for one candidate versus the other, and by all means speak honestly and openly to the council here, because they've got to take all of this information they've received tonight and take it under consideration. And
The consensus I get from the police department, there's several here, and if they disagree with me, please speak up at any time.
Right.
And from my dispatchers as well, I can speak for positive, and I feel like I can speak for most of the officers as well. Like I said, a lot of them's here, so if they disagree, they can speak up. And former officers are here as support as well. A chief is only as good as the people he's surrounded by, no matter who you pick. Okay? He's gonna rely on us, and we're gonna rely on him. It's not just a one man's job, it's a department job. I think Marty more than capable of doing it. I've known Marty pretty much over 20-something years. Known Benny for close to it, about 20 years, between Macon County and here. But as overall as what the department's been through in the last year and a half, and try to get it to where it needs to be, my recommendation would to leave it as it is and recommend Benny for the welfare. And like I said, you know, Benny's not going to be perfect. He hasn't, you know, everybody's going to make mistakes, whether it be Marty or Benny. You know, we all have to work together, but as a consensus from everyone else, I feel that's what they want, and that's what their input would be.
okay, thank you very much.
Does anyone disagree?
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mayor. Okay, you have interviewed. You have gone back through the questions, given scores. It's time for us to move forward.
Based on the information we have and the many phone calls and public comments I've received, that we appoint Benny Hudgens as permanent chief, and that we allow him that we to live in the house he lives in now, that he's lived in for several years. It's just beyond what our restrictions say, but he's done the job living in that house for many months now, and I see no problem. That's my...
Okay, we have a motion on the floor.
One second.
We have a motion and a proper second to have Benny Hudgens as the permanent police chief. I guess what I need to know, do we need to set a salary to go with that motion or make it separate?
You can add it to the motion. best way.
Would you,
What is the norm?
Okay, I can't remember this, I'm gonna refer back to our latest hiring procedure with Chief Smith at the time. I want to say that maybe you brought him on at 38, then after a year's time, so the time
months
frame,
would it
he was
Yeah.
put up to 40 a year.
That probation period was.
Now, I may be a little wrong on that, first number.
That's right.
He was started out at 38, but at the end of his
Probation.
he was
Yeah.
promoted to 40.
Yeah.
okay.
I am going to, I guess, make my motion then. Since Benny has already served in that capacity for what, 8 months now, that we go ahead and waive the probationary period and appoint him permanent chief at $40,000 a year.
Okay, we have a motion
A second.
and we have a second.
Wait a
Discussion.
minute, we already had a second with Ricky.
Yeah. Another second.
Give me a second.
He had
Yeah.
amended it,
Okay.
one second. You
Okay,
have to second.
Okay, well, you did, it don't matter. Yeah.
okay, let's discuss it now. We have a motion and a second.
I do have a comment. I guess no business should be conducted by Facebook or any other social media.
I agree.
If that, was to ever come up again, they need to come into the police department or do what would normally be procedure.
I agree with you.
And for everyone that doesn't know, we'll add this in. I've checked into it. There is a proper procedure to register a complaint against an official of the city. It's a written notice, and then there's a 10-day time to respond. If the response in writing is not sufficient, then it comes to the council. So in the future, that is how we will proceed with that, and we will, sure it will come up many times in the future, so we will undertake on that. Sorry for that, but any more discussion?
Yeah, I do want to say now, the Facebook thing, I don't get into, because I call it a gossip channel. So I just don't get involved in it. And I did speak to Benny about that, and he assured me that that was all that was done with Facebook. I do hope he stays off Facebook.
Whichever way all this goes, I expect nothing but professionalism out of the staff of our city. I'm going to go, well, I'll wait till after we vote, but I'll give you my speech right quick.
Okay.
Okay, any other? Anything else? Okay. Let's vote. Roll call.
Smalling,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Farley, and Harrison.
Yes.
4 yes.
Motion carries. Chief Hudgens, congratulations. What I was going to say, and this may not be the point, but it's a good opportunity to say it. I expect nothing but highly trained professionalism out of each individual that works for this city. I do not ever want someone to come to me and give me bad news about our employees. The citizens of this town pay the salary for everyone. They expect to have water when they turn on their faucet. They expect a commode to flush. They expect the fire department, the ambulance service, and the police department to respond in a timely fashion when they're needed. I want to commend each and every one of our city workers. They have worked through ice, snow, rain, and a little bit of sunshine, but not much for the last 2 months. I've been mayor between 10 and 11 weeks now, and it has been just bad news after bad news. I know my public works folks and my sewer plant operator have all just been ready to call it quits at any time. So I commend each and every one of you once again. Thank you. Next item under new business is to purchase a sewer pump.
During the first snow that we got, which y'all know about, the current went off Station 2, we burned the motor starter up, and then we burned the pump up all the same night. And the station was down for about 5 or 6 hours. I got prices on that pump, and if we have Bouchard come in, just putting the pump in, they want us to buy the pump and then put it in.
Okay.
Was $15,900. The pump is about $22,000 or $3,000 is what the pump itself costs. L&T, their bid was them buying the pump, and putting it in and all was $28,000. So they're going to be a whole lot cheaper than Bouchard. It's still high. Any way you go, it's high. They went up about $2,000 or $3,000 since the last one that we bought. They said the first of the year there was a 3% markup on the pumps.
They must have knew we had one going out.
Huh?
They must have known we had one.
They probably did. They probably did. If they stick around, they'll probably get some more. They seem to be going out pretty regular at this point in time. But that is on the sewage pump. And if y'all want to talk about it or whatever, we will, and I'll go into the Station 1 vacuum pumps situation.
It's my understanding that no one in the United States makes that pump. Is that the one?
CPEX. There's probably more that make it. That's the cheapest that L&T could find. And I actually tried to get a hold of CPEX and get a price myself. I never could even get a price myself. So I don't know how we would even purchase the pump. I had a hard time trying to get a price. And I think that's why Bouchard and Sons didn't want to fool with them having to buy that pump. And there may be some other styles that we could go with. You know, I don't know. But this is what we found to be the cheapest over the last year or two, and they work good. We've been using them for probably 2 years now. They seem to be working good. I mean, we can do some more investigating, but really don't have a whole lot of time. If it starts raining much for spring, it ain't gonna keep up. We ain't got but one sewage pump, and it ain't gonna keep up.
Okay.
What was the lowest price, and who is it from?
L&T, $28,406, and that's about 6 weeks on it getting here. That's why it kind of needs to be a little bit of a rush, on that one.
That's the quickest we can get one.
Yeah. Well, they said 4 to 6 weeks, but the last two took 6 weeks.
28 what did you say?
28,406.
I'll make a motion that we purchase the sewage pump and have it installed by L&T at the amount of $28,406. We have to have it.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, purchase of this pump.
I'll second the motion.
We have a proper second to the motion. Discussion.
We have the funds for this, Rita?
We don't have budgeted funds, but we've already used the budgeted funds to purchase another pump, but you'll just have to do a budget amendment before the end of the year.
Okay.
There is money in the bank to cover it, yes.
Okay.
Would that be the sewer reserve fund that it would come out of, or?
No, it would just be an expense to the budget as amended.
Okay.
Do we really have
You've
a
already
choice?
used the purchase pump.
But the sewer
We got
reserve
it
fund is where
ourselves.
the money would come from, or would it come from general fund, or?
It just come from the bank account.
Okay.
Can move it out, maybe some of the other lines
Okay.
in the budget, amend it,
Okay.
bring it in.
When you amend a budget, yes,
Yeah.
you can amend the line item for purchase pumps,
Okay.
yes, if that's what you were saying.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not technically coming from a reserve account? It'll
No,
come-
it will not.
Okay.
It'll be coming from hard cash
Okay.
out of the water and sewer fund.
Okay.
Is that something that we would need to do prior to the end of the year, or?
Amending the budget, yes, sir.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Klein,
Yes.
Farley,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
and Smalling.
Yes.
4 yes.
Motion passes.
Okay.
Okay.
Station 1.
We'll get into that when you
Okay,
when you
later
do
on.
your
Okay.
report.
Wouldn't think he did that.
More good news.
I figured that.
Chief Hudgens, we have hiring a full-time police officer or officers on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
So,
Mr. Mayor and Council, I've got Officer David Langston here with me today. He's from North Carolina. He's a certified officer. I put him on part-time, and I was going to ask permission from the council to hire him full-time. I'm down 3 officers now. I'm sorry to say, Officer Gross didn't make it through the academy. He didn't make it through the first night. Only good thing about it is it didn't cost us anything.
Good.
Okay. I've got another officer that I want to, with the council's permission, to put him through the academy, and I believe he'll make a good officer. He wants to do it. He's young. He lives here close by. His name is Kevin Brown. He's one of our reserve officers, and he's real anxious about getting into law enforcement. He works for the Sumner County Sheriff's Department now as a jailer. But back to Mr. Langston here. Mr. Langston comes highly accredited out of North Carolina, the departments he's worked for, and he's willing to work. He said he'd take anything he could get right now. He had to move from North Carolina, had to relocate here. His wife got a better job, and he moved down here with her, which I thought was pretty commendable. And he's working for Dollar General as a sales associate right now. He's a police officer, and you know, it's hard to live like that when you've been a police officer and it's in your blood. Mr. Langston is well versed in law enforcement. The only thing we'll have to do is put him through a 3-week transition class, transition from North Carolina to Tennessee. That's a $750 charge that Mr. Langston stated he would have no problem paying himself just to get the job, if the council found him worthy of the job. And I'd like to request that we hire Mr. Langston as our next full-time police officer.
is he aware of the pay scale?
Yes, sir. He's very aware of it.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Benny, I'm sorry, but I don't think the council knows of the termination letter from Officer Host that you received.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that.
That was a full-time officer.
One of the 3 positions was a full-time officer. He went full-time with the Air National Guard and has since sent in his resignation letter.
And that was who?
Matt Host, the one that's been on military leave
He's one that's been on military leave for about a year now.
So it is official, he
Yes,
has
sir.
resigned now.
I make a motion that we hire Mr. Langston, full-time police officer, with 180 days probation period.
Second.
We have to state his starting salary, or is that determined, that's already predetermined?
The only thing is he's stipulating 180 days. Now, the increased level is at 90 days, isn't it? So that would,
His first pay increase level would be at 90 days.
if you want to amend that to 90, usually the 180 is for our department
Okay.
heads.
90 days, and just to clear it up, put it in the motion that the city will pay for his transition class.
okay.
We have a motion on the floor.
Second.
We have a second. Discussion. Hearing none, let's vote.
Farley,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Smalling,
Yes.
and Klein.
Yes.
4 yes.
Motion carries. Congratulations, Mr.
Thank
Langston.
you.
Appreciate it.
Would anybody like to hear from Mr. Langston?
If he wants to speak.
Langston?
I don't live in the city. I live right down the road in Bethpage, so I'm pretty close to here. But I was with the Sheriff's Department in North Carolina, law enforcement for 6+ years. But I've been in emergency services since I was a teenager. Everything from fire service, 911 communications. I was a dispatcher for years, a trainer for years, EMS service. Done a little bit of all of it, but I got into law enforcement, really enjoy it. I've done quite a bit in law enforcement. I've worked the road. I worked house arrest division where I monitored inmates on ankle bracelets, and when I left I was working in the crime lab as a crime scene investigator. So I've got a little bit of experience in quite a few areas in law enforcement, but I've been here for about 1.5 years and ready to get back to work. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Very good.
Thank you.
Chief, would you like to tell us about Kevin now?
Yes, sir. Kevin Brown is one of the reserve officers that we have. He comes in every chance he gets and loves to do the job. He wants to get into law enforcement. I think Kevin is 23 years old, something like that. Kevin, like I said, he's a jailer for the Sumner County Sheriff's Department at this time. I posted a notice here the other day that reserve officers are not allowed to drive the vehicles alone anymore, write any citations or do any reports. And it broke his heart, you know. Well, when Officer Gross called me Sunday night and told me that he couldn't do it, I tried to talk him into staying, and he told me he'd already left. And I told him, I said, well, what you need to do then, just go ahead and bring your stuff in the morning, which he did. He's kind of kicking himself in the butt right now. And Larry was a good officer, and he would have made a good one. I think what happened to Larry, he just couldn't stand to be away from home. And with the council's permission, I think that Kevin Brown would make a good officer if we could send him through the academy. I know that I know it's hard to ask to send somebody through the academy after we just had one that just quit, but it didn't cost us anything. You know, the first night he just left. He said it's just too much for him. He couldn't handle it. And I would ask the council consider Kevin Brown to be hired as a police officer and to go to the academy for the Westmoreland Police Department. He doesn't even know that I'm asking this. He doesn't know.
Now, he'll be a full-time officer? You're requesting him to be full-time until he goes to the academy?
We'd have to have him full-time before we could send him to the academy. And I think we can get him in the next class.
When will the next class be?
Is that in June?
Next transition class.
That's what I said, I'm running the contract up.
The transition class is in September, right?
Yes.
I mean the next.
Brown.
The next academy class.
Be in June. So he'll work for us till June. And we can only work him 6 months before he has to go to the academy. So June would be a good time for him to go. Officer Almoftano will get the paperwork started and get him into the academy.
Okay.
With your permission.
Okay.
Mayor, if you're going to address this, it'd have to be added to the agenda. It was not on the agenda.
Okay, well, okay, I just grouped it in under hiring of police officers. That's the reason I didn't add it separately.
I guess it's there, isn't it? I mean, it says hire full-time.
If you'd rather wait and put it on the next agenda, we can do that, because like I said, he doesn't even know that I'm asking.
Let's do that.
Do you want to amend it?
I was
We can
referring
amend
to if you sent him to the police academy is what I was getting at.
Oh, okay. Well, it's my understanding it need to be hired before we
Yes, sir.
can do that, so.
Let's amend the agenda and do it. He needs him.
Well, I can put him on for 30 days. We can do it at the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, do that.
put him on for 30 days. You talk to him and make.
Oh, I'm sure he'll want it.
You can readdress us at the next
will.
work study, and we'll put it on the next
Okay.
Make sure he understands it. He'll sign the agreement to
Yes, sir. He
train
knows
the
about
police
the contract.
academy
Yes, sir.
fees if he, okay.
He doesn't stay the full year.
And he's already got uniforms and everything, so we don't have to buy him anything.
Now, for your third position, I know we advertised, so.
I don't have anybody yet. I
Okay.
was kindly holding off on that one. That was my position. Just in case I didn't get chief, I was gonna go back to it.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is review payroll for water sewer fund and wait a minute, I skipped one here. Wastewater Financing Board report. The meeting for the 12th was postponed by the Water Funding Board. That is reset now for, I believe it is May the 15th. Does that sound correct?
15th or 16th.
15,
Okay.
I thought.
So I have to check the calendar for sure to see. But I was going to ask the council members, of course, this is a carryover from the work study that got canceled because of the weather, to see if the council had recommendations that they wanted to pursue on this. Do we need to call a special work study to review it, or do you want to just do it at the next work study before we go? But I want the council to be united on what we do, how we move forward on this, and before we present it to the state. So really, I guess I'm just looking for a recommendation here from the council.
We can do it at the next work study, I guess, right? Unless there's something more pressing that we need to do with at the work study.
If we do it at the next work study, that'll give about a month before the meeting to get
Okay.
everything together.
Yeah.
Because we need to raise by the state's own numbers about $264,000 over the next 3 years. So it's going to be a monumental task to do that, but I'm going to be open for recommendations, and we will check into that. Next, we'll review the payroll for water and sewer fund and review changes that affect the budget.
Okay. The reason this is on the agenda is Adam and Kenny are both asking for help. And I know the changes that were made in October and November of last year within this budget year kind of threw the budget out of whack. And by looking at the budget and knowing what had transpired with those changes, I can't tell if we've got the funds to hire them help or not. And Ms. Frank talked about it. Adam and I talked about it a little bit, and I understand a little bit more about it now. But as far as reviewing, okay, we had just Kenny as a public works person. His salary came out of public works, right?
50/50, public works and sewer.
Okay. And now his salary comes completely out of sewer, correct?
That has not changed,
Okay. So he comes completely.
because it was budgeted the other way.
Okay.
That would really mess you up if you switched during the fiscal year,
So
different
he's-
than what had been budgeted.
So he's still 50/50?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did not know that. That's good information. And then Adam's salary still comes,
I don't have the paper in front of me.
It's the same thing, 50/50. I asked Meredith about it.
okay. Pretty good information.
Public Works.
Okay. But was that additional to the budget? Or was that the same prior?
That's the way it was set at fiscal year.
Okay, okay. Now, that being said, I think you had someone hired to replace you in Public Works,
Yeah.
and that person's no longer there, right?
Right.
So he's down a man, and Kenny is asking for him. And I don't know what to do. And that's one of the reasons we have the council. What do y'all feel about it?
Well, if Kenny was splitting and now he's full-time at the sewer department, why do we have a problem, I guess is my question. If you weren't devoting as much time, but now your time is 100% there, I guess I'm wondering where there's an issue. I mean, I know it's always gonna be a mess, but
Oh, no, we can hire 100 people, it's not gonna do it. The reason being, and I've told you before, Larry Akins is retiring, and I actually talked him into coming back out of retirement. All he does is haul sludge for right now. His other duties, and I'd like to give this to you. The first page, just a summary of what this other person would do, and a lot of it is what Larry was doing, besides what I was doing. And some of it is what I personally do that we really don't have anybody per se trained in. If I fall over with a heart attack tonight, not that nobody can't be replaced, but everybody should have a backup. And the other two pages come directly, the back two pages come directly out of the SAP that came with the sewer plant in 1978. Needless to say, since then it has expanded some. We've got another large tank that has to be cleaned. During the summertime it takes over with algae. And it being nearly 40 years old, there's a lot more maintenance and upkeep to it. Chris Carter used to help with a lot of it. He would help do some of the chains and sprockets and stuff, things such as that. So, I mean, you need another certified licensed operator. You need at least 2 of them. And I've got 34 years experience, 20 of them plus down there at that wastewater plant. There's several things you need to know about that plant to make it run right and meet the EPA limits. So with that being said, that's what I want to do is train somebody in so that if I want to take vacation, and Chris was getting that, but found out his services was more needed outside in the distribution and collection because that's the license he holds out there. It'd be a hardship on them to do without Chris. That is for sure. They need his expertise out there. I know Chris would have liked to have came down there, but he is definitely needed out there in the field, y'all. I do believe.
how many hours a day do you currently work here up there?
Anywhere from 6 to 7 hours a day. That right there was what y'all had discussed when you cut my pay $13,000 a year. And you was the one that actually made the most.
Okay. The hard facts of what Kenny's asking for is the water department, according to my calculations, is under in payroll by $9,000 if we go at the current rate we're spending in the budget. And the sewer department will be over approximately $9,000 at the current rate in the budget. And then sanitation is actually going to be over about $14,000. Thomas Fisher, if that is still in effect, would like to move from sanitation to the sewer department. And that'll leave Adam down 2 people instead of 1. So if we're going to go over in some of these funds, we need to agree that we're going to go over to get these people the help that they need. And that's the dilemma that I'm in. But the gentleman that you and I talked about, has he applied and put in an application?
No, he has not yet.
Okay, so we can't do that tonight if we wanted to. He had someone lined up from the outside that would be willing to come, and then we wouldn't have to move Thomas. So that's what I said, that's where we're at, and that's all the information I have towards this topic right now, that we can solve the problem and get both of these fellas the help that they need.
Now, tell me if I'm mistaken here, but when the arrangement was made back last fall, when the changes were made, Thomas was voted on to go to the sewer plant 2 days a week,
Right.
minimum, so that he could start working on a wastewater license.
True, but then Tom told me a month ago he didn't want to get the license. But now he's talking to y'all, and that's something I want to say while all y'all are up there together. Y'all handled that wrong, in my opinion. I should have been one of the first ones to know about it, and y'all, nobody told me. Y'all had this, I found out about it through the council package. And it's not a big deal, but in the future, I need to be one of the first ones to know if somebody's gonna go out of my department to go somewhere else.
Well, I would have thought he would have talked to you about it.
No, nobody talked to me. Tom should have, Kenny should have, Brian should have. Everybody that knew about it should have come to me because I should have been the first one to know about it, and I was the last one. I don't know, whatever y'all decide to do, what y'all decide to do. But if Tom goes, then I need 2 full-time people back. And if Tom goes, I would like Tom to stay on call until I get somebody else trained in.
The mayor
Get
just,
spot on call.
I am not sure that this will help the situation, so y'all can discuss it. I'd say until we figure out what we want to do for sure, let's just honor the agreement that was made last fall.
Yeah.
I know everybody is tight for people right now. With the rains coming, it's going to be a nightmare for everybody. You're utilizing Larry for a couple of days a week right now, and I don't know if he agreed to do that for a month or 2 months or what.
4 to 6 more weeks, and he would like to, when weather gets a little better, he would like to kind of go ahead and retire.
I
Enjoy
understand.
things.
Why don't we go ahead and leave Thomas assigned to sanitation right now? Let him take the time that he needs to go to the plant, whether it be 2 days a week or ever how that arrangement was, because I know that he runs the truck a couple of days a week, and then the truck has to go to the landfill. So
One reason that he had me going out last month is even if Larry's down there, Larry can't haul either. It's too wet.
Right.
Nobody can haul right now.
Right.
Larry got to haul 1 day in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
but Larry has helped out in the plant to
Yeah,
keep.
he is helping out with, other things such as that too.
So if that doesn't run us too much more over budget, let's stay with that, because according to what Ms. Carter said, the budget pretty much stays intact as it is through this fiscal year. So we'll just, like I said, y'all can discuss that, but that's my take on it right now.
I'd like to add that at our next work study that we have Thomas come and we, between now and then, find out, what does he want to do.
I tried to get Tom to come tonight. He said he wasn't coming. I tried to get him to come.
Well,
He should have had his, he should have been here to talk about it too, because he's
Well,
a big
I
part of it.
asked him to be here too.
Yeah, he told me 4:30. I asked him 4:30, said, you coming tonight? Nah, I ain't gonna be there.
And when he called me, I asked him to
It's
come.
hard to-
So
Hard to get a read on him.
I don't know what's happening here, honestly. So
Yeah.
I'll just say it. He asked for the transfer. He called me and asked for it. Then the next thing that I hear, he doesn't want it. So this straggling the fence like that, if I need somebody, then I may up and hire somebody, or the council will. So we'll discuss that at the work study. So.
I'd like to also say, on behalf of all of these guys, we have an outdated sewer system, which we all know we're holding together with Band-Aids and a prayer. And we just keep extending water lines throughout the county and putting more and more on Public Works with the same number of people they've had for,
We got 6 full-time employees and 5 departments. Everybody can run their own department if they want to.
so.
Have you thought about that?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So we're going to reinforce the previous agreement to allow Thomas to work at the sewer plant 2 days a week as needed.
Until the next work study. And
Can y'all make that happen?
Yeah, man, but we can do what we can do. We're short man, but we're all short man.
I understand when you got big rain problems out there, Thomas is not gonna be able to haul stuff. And you got stations down. you're gonna need nothing else and I'm all working together.
Pretty much takes care of it.
Takes care of the next one.
Take care of a lot of it.
Daisy can all.
Some more just talking about the diffusers on
Takes
that.
care of the next one.
And then some of it, you guys need to start burning.
Okay, we're gonna move along here. That takes care of the next one for an employee at the sewer plant, and the employee from the water department to the sewer plant was a misprint. That was supposed to be sanitation.
Yes.
So that one's taken care of at this point. Plans for repair at the sewer plant and the pumping stations, Brian.
Okay. Part of that was the pump, and the other part of that is the actual sewer plant's repairs, which Kenny's working on. He's explained the diffuser situation and the cost.
The diffuser situation, we discussed it with Buddy Coates, and instead of going with stainless steel, which would be the ultimate, but it would outlast the tank. Our engineer agrees that Schedule 80 piping will be sufficient enough to outlast the tanks we got now. And me and another guy from Ward Construction are gonna actually assemble those units out of Schedule 80. I've got to order the different type of diffusers that takes less of those and they're more efficient, fine bubble diffusers. And depending on how hard it is to get the old diffusers out and put these in, it would cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,200 to $1,500 per unit. And I only have 7 units instead of 8 in the aeration basin where we need the oxygen level up. So we were going to try to do one at a time and measure the oxygen levels to make sure that we're on the right path.
And the reason I put that on the agenda is, again, it's outside the budget and the regular line items in the maintenance.
I thought we'd done approved this once before to change in diffusers. Back middle of last year.
Was that
Did we not-
pre-manufactured
did we not?
diffusers or?
We voted on
we
this.
approved to do that, then we ran into the problems when Ward Construction come down there and helped pull it out with the boom truck.
Right.
They completely fell apart. There was no change in diffusers. We've got to make the entire header and the entire system because they're corroded, and so we got 2 of them out. I said stop at that point, and this is where we are today.
Okay.
And it's my understanding we're going to try one, see how it works, what the longevity of it is, and how it see if it takes care of the problem.
Yeah, we need to make sure we're on the right path with what we got going. We asked Buddy Coons, our engineer, and he seems to think that we are. But then again, you know, I like to see for myself, measure the oxygen level out there to make sure that you know, what we're doing is the correct thing.
Okay. There again, the reason it's on the agenda is because it's outside the budget and outside the actual available funds to do it. So I wanted to put it on here because at the time I put it on the agenda, I thought there were going to be more items that were much more expensive. Of course, the pump's part of that, and we've already discussed that. So.
And Adam's going to discuss some more in a minute.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Emergency procedure.
Any other discussion on that?
No.
Discuss emergency procedure during severe weather for a sewer system. I might add to that before you speak, Brian,
Okay.
that because of the severity of what we've had, I authorized one of the field engineers from AirVac to come in. I think it was very beneficial. He provided a lot of training for Adam and maybe some of the other guys, but he told us a lot about the system. Of course, everyone has said that we have one of the oldest systems. He told Adam that it was number 2 on the installation list. So I'm sure there were a lot of experimental things that were put into this plant, and now we're paying the price for it, but we're going to do what we need to do until we get our new plan in, which is, you know, we're on the state priority list for a new plant. we're waiting from word from them, which I understand that could come as soon as the next 2 months. So we'll keep moving ahead with that. Go ahead.
Okay. Adam, when the alarms go off and the police department's notified on the alarm, what is typically the procedure when they do that?
The police department will call whoever's on call that night.
Okay.
And come in and check the station.
Now, is that after the first call, the second call, or?
They call 3 times, like they're 10 or 15
Okay.
minutes apart.
And then they check the station that is giving the alarm.
Stations below 15 on
What,
the gauges.
what do they typically do when they check that alarm?
You
Do they
got to
just,
start valving off, find what line it's on. Once you find what line it's on, then you got to start walking each pit of that line to find out which pit, which valve is hung.
so most of the time that situation is a valve that's hung, and we've already talked about it. They have a list of potential pits that.
95% of the time it's a valve hung, unless you've got power kill that's calling in or something that's burned up, went out.
Okay.
It's 95% valve.
I want to talk about the throttling the pumps back situation, stuff like that.
Talk to air back, said it was a bad idea.
Bad idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
he said that the mains are so undersized that you hurt yourself by throttling them back.
Okay. And had we'd done that quite a bit in the past.
Yeah, I mean, a time or two it seemed as though it helped, but the worst thing about it is then you get so much water backup, then you're there 3 or 4 days. You know, I mean, even sometimes longer than that. You know, our station 1 still ain't right, which, like I said, we're gonna talk about that later. But like station 2, it was down about probably 3 days, but we left it wide. Once we got it going back up, and we left it wide open because once you shut them down, then you've got water backed up. Not only in your mains, you've got them backed up to the houses, and then you're a good 3 or 4 days before you can ever get everything to level out to even start working on anything.
Okay. And most of these pits that you were referring to are typically the same pits.
We have a lot of the same ones that give trouble.
And can you get a list of the priority of pits that you would like to change out so we could look at some of that cost?
Yeah, 25. I know at least 25. Well, we've probably still got, I would say, 10 or 12, 15 pits that still ain't hooked up right now that we can't hook up trying to take them on water still.
Okay, well, I know that's something we talked about a long time ago, and I know we hadn't made much progress in that.
Yeah, we've moved some of them. You know, when Kenny was off, we moved some pits, and we dug some up and replaced everything.
Okay.
And sometimes you still have trouble with those pits. I don't. they're in a bad place.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, so next time we have a situation, everybody's aware of what the process is and how it can save us some time and some money.
Once it goes down, it's just we're all out just walking. And if y'all see us at night walking up and down the road and it's been raining, that's what we're doing. Sometimes we have to walk 3 or 4 days just listening to pick up. Once you find one and get it fixed, another one's gonna hang, and it'll do that for 3 or 4 days. I mean, it's frustrating, to say the least.
The leak in the line at the pump station, is that what we're talking about later, or is it?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the leak in the line at Station 1. Okay. Okay. Get us a list of those pits that you would like to replace and come up with some costs so we can look at maybe budgeting that in, or maybe even getting that.
We figured at one time what it did cost to change one out complete if you change the whole unit out. Which they got new styles now. We've got to get some pricing on the new style because they got a new style pit now. The guy was telling me the other day that he thinks it's a whole lot better.
Okay, well, Buddy's working up a complete system analysis of what's got to be done for to meet the state's mandates. So that's something we can plug into that. So just, if you'll get that for us, that'll be a big help.
Did we find out what malfunctioned on that alarm at Station 1?
No, actually, we're supposed to have Alvin Davis come and look. It's been working since then. It done that one day. It didn't call in. I don't know what the deal was. He said he thought it was in the phone line. That's when we was having all the ice and the snow and all that stuff. You know, I don't know what caused it. Probably.
We'll catch some more of that in a minute, then.
Okay.
Is there any way, Brian, that we can do 6, 7, 8 at our next work study?
6, 7, the IDB items. Well, I think Andy's here to talk about some of those items, and we don't really have to talk about them, other than the only reason I put them. Andy and I talked about them, and I talked to them with the Industrial Development Board, and the only reason they're on the agenda is they've got a new board, and it's a good time for them to start looking at some things to make those items their own. And he agreed that they would do these items. So it's not really something we need to discuss, other than they're going to do them.
Okay.
But then again, I put them on there for the new board, and David knows this. We've kind of been beat up in the past. We're not participating, not taking responsibility, and some things like that. And I thought it was a good opportunity for us to take the lead to say, we need you guys to do these things so we can.
Same thing with number 10.
Okay. The very last item.
Yeah, have you talked to them about that?
Yeah, they're aware of that, and they're going to do that. They're going to do that last item too with the.
I don't have an agenda. I'm looking at Mark's, but I don't know what's going on.
The transition of the from the recorder.
We've already started doing some stuff, so yes, we're aware of it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's the same thing. So they're going to do these things. I just wanted us to kind of take the lead and take the ownership of it, so we could give them some direction, have some accountability. That's all it was.
Okay.
And as far as the business plan, they're waiting for a scope of
Yes.
what will happen
Okay.
before they, there is a business plan already, but they're looking at updating it.
Yeah. That takes
Okay.
care of all those items. Yes.
Okay, very good.
Number 9.
Next item, that I'm going to add on is Resolution R 032015-1. I had a meeting with the Sumner County Joint Economic and Community Development folks Friday of last week. There is a deadline on turning this in. It's called Adventure Tourism. And the state is sponsoring this. It's a win-win situation, but there are some things that we have to do to become part of that program, and the municipality will actually join in with Sumner County government to be part of this. Now, the Venture Tourism is basically employees. In other words, 2 people could work part-time versus 1 full-time person. So what is the benefit of it? Let's say we make our district part of Highway 52 up here, and they come in and put in a hotel or a restaurant. Well, you know, if you build a restaurant or a hotel of any size at all, you're going to have a $500,000 investment. That $500,000 is the baseline for this program. If they hire 25 employees, the state will give that entity, whoever it would be, and I'll just throw out a name, Ma Jones Hotel Line. Okay, if she hires 25 people, she gets $4,500 from the state for each individual she hires. I'm sure there are other stipulations and contracts, but we didn't get that much into it because Sumner County voted on this. The county commission voted on it Monday night. There again, they just found out about it Friday, so it's and it's got a deadline of April to get it turned in. So I was going to ask the council to go ahead and let's okay it so we can get our information into the executive's office and become part of this program. You say, well, we are not going to build a hotel anytime soon. It's my understanding that this is for up to 3 years. And after 1 year in the program, we can make adjustments as to what we need. But there are two options: not get in the program and wait a year, or get in the program on a limited basis and then figure out what we want to do with it. What my recommendation to the council would be, if we move forward with this, all the land that is between the Macon County line and Sumner County line on New 52 coming out, actually just kind of staying out of any residential areas there, but make that corridor out to where it meets the county, like I said, minus residential areas, our district. That way, if someone came in and, like the apartments that's over by the rehabilitation center, if they wanted to put something in, they could be included in this program. It has been discussed by other individuals with me that we may want to put in the area around the expo center, and also the county executive agreed with that. He felt like that would be a good move. If someone come in and say wanted to put a kayak plant out there in one of their spare businesses, and they made the investment and hired 25 people, they're eligible for this program. If someone came in and wanted to build tents, they could meet this program's parameters. We may even want to go out to Pleasant Grove Road and take in the new plant that Fleetwood had out there in case anything happens in that area. We're not locked into doing this, but if the opportunity does approach, I think it would be good for us. So you have a resolution before you, and if you would like to consider this, my personal recommendation is to go ahead and urge it. We can, if you wish, discuss the district lines a little more at the work study, but this has got to get turned in pretty quick. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, I'm sorry, did you have an extra copy for Attorney Bradley? I didn't have him one.
I've got one.
Yeah.
Do you have one? Okay.
I'm gonna make a motion that we pass resolution R-032-015-1.
Second.
We have a motion and a proper second on the floor to adopt the resolution. Any more discussion? I know you have questions. Go ahead. Did everyone get the opportunity to look at most of the handout?
Yeah.
How long does the program last? You said 3 years total once we adopt it?
Right now, when someone gets into the, let's say we had someone actually come in 3 weeks from now and wanted to build a restaurant. And they qualified for this program if we had it in place. They have 3 years from that time to collect on that. As far as us being in the program in 1 year, if we want to pull out of it, we can do that. But I don't see any downside of it. It's free state money, and it would make the difference in someone saying, I want to bring my business to Westmoreland versus taking it to Portland or Lafayette. So, and the county commission vote, I think it was 23-1 was the vote on that Monday night.
23 and 1 abstained.
1 abstained. Okay. Thank you.
Mayor, if the council would look at the 6 whereas it states you have to have the application package showing the boundaries for this district, so you all may want to think about
Right.
that.
That's what I was calling the districts.
Right. That must go in with this plan. I
Yeah.
think, is that right?
And basically, they need it for resolution. They need a notarized letter from me, and they need a copy of our district boundaries. But the executive said if we could go ahead and get the resolution passed, and our business plan will fall in under the county's business plan. We may tweak one for the city itself, but like I said, we're close on needing to get this in.
I might amend my motion to allow the mayor to develop the boundaries and report to us at the work study. That way we don't have to vote on the boundaries again.
Second. I'm second that. That's a good idea.
And I might ask Mr. Bradley, is that pretty much in line with what you've heard about the program? I don't leave anything out.
I think it's something, sounds like a no-win proposition. I mean, no-lose proposition to me. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't do it. It's free money.
We done everything we could the other day to get Hampton in on it. So.
Right.
Okay, no further discussion? Roll call.
Harrison,
Yes.
Smalling,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
and Farley.
Yes.
4 yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you, and I will get that together, and we'll get a letter drafted and get it taken care of. Come right ahead. Tell us about the Industrial Development Board. Andy, we appreciate all of you, and it's good to see members of your board here tonight.
We do have a few. I won't take too much time because I guess I heard you right. We're going to push those agenda items to the work session. Okay.
Yes.
I told Brian and the mayor the industrial board will commit to either myself or a member to be here either a work session every month or a meeting, whatever is convenient, or whatever, whichever one I need to be at the most. Those items on the agenda we do need to discuss post haste, and mainly the business plan, as the mayor alluded to, because it's hard to write a business plan without a clear direction where we're going. And the clear direction's not, it's not, in my view, it all revolves around the finances. So as far as an industrial board report goes, I guess we'll come back after a meeting next week on Monday night, and we'll talk to you about those things on the being moved to the work session. Our board did vote, and I'll take this time to report to share this. It's my understanding I didn't get it on the official agenda, so I'm not asking you for action tonight. I just want to throw it out there, and we'll take it up at a later date. But our board voted. Here's I'll give Ms. Frida a copy. This is the county resolution, and the county granted us the $100,000. There's 3 different sheets there, and I'll let you read it on your own time, but this is the resolution that was passed when we were granted the $100,000, whatever date it says here on this paper. I think it's back in 2010. In the resolution, you can read the wording yourself on the last page, page 262. It says that be it further resolved that I think that's supposed to be, if the Expo Center property is sold before December 2020 for a for-profit entity, any contributions made by the county should be repaid to the county from the sale proceeds. That's what everybody's been talking about over the last year. And as you read it yourself, you see that it's very plain if it is sold to a for-profit entity. The industrial board has not discussed selling this facility not one time in the whole year and several months that I've been on it. If anybody is discussing that, they're doing it on their own accord. And but the board does not want to sell it, and we definitely haven't discussed it. But we would like to ask this body to take action, not tonight, but in the future, for us to approach the county and make this resolution very plain, that if the use changes of it, then we don't owe the money back. Even though it doesn't explicitly state this, I agree with what everybody's saying. When we went and approached the county, it was Expo Center, Event Center, Event Center. And so they give this money with that. Even though it's not explicitly stated, that was the understanding. And so we would like to go back and approach the county. Our board voted, out of the 6 members attending, 5 voted yea, 1 abstained, to approach the council and also to approach the county.
but we can't go to the county without this body's approval. We could, but it's not going to do it good. So I would like for this body to take action in the near future, to support the industrial board asking the county to amend this resolution such that if the use of the facility changes, we don't owe the money back. That's not guaranteeing the use is going to change. I don't want to get everybody up in arms tonight over that. That is just taking the handcuffs off of us so that we can change with the climate. Because the financial situation is dismal right now. And the industrial board will have to ask the city to float us for the next, I don't know how long. There are some maybes on the event calendar, but I haven't seen a contract yet, just maybes. And I don't budget on maybes.
Nope.
And so right now, I know this is a very controversial topic in our community. I'm not looking to take anything from anybody except the debt and the burden away from our taxpayers. So this is the first step in allowing us, such that, like the mayor talked about tonight, if this district opens wide up and we have somebody wanting to find a place to manufacture something, you know, we can't offer it to them right now. And this is just one hurdle. Another hurdle is the Board of Zoning Appeals and the zoning. But right now, the current zone allows for 18 different uses in this zoning. And if you wonder what those are, you can drive up and down the strip on 31 or 52. A lot of that zone, the same zone as we are. So those are some of the uses that we could have there, but we're pretty well limited right now to recreational uses. And, well, that's something that we're on the agenda to discuss with Rachel, because currently right now we have business over there, we've got light manufacturing going on over there, and we've got events. So either we're already breaking the rules or we're not, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So we need to get this clarified and straightened out. And one of our goals with the current board we have is to get some of our practices straightened out and legitimate. Not that I'm not accusing anybody in the past. It's not easy when you're all volunteers. We have no professional help whatsoever, which is another thing that we need to address as a board. You know, at least y'all have Mr. Bradley there to give legal counsel. Right. We don't have legal counsel. We don't have anybody that's got the background in industrial boards. We're just a group of people trying to make the community better, and that's easier said than done. So I'll give them, commend them that they are doing the best job that we can do with our experience and our limited knowledge of legal proceedings and all this stuff that we're trying to wade through. But and we're going to make mistakes, and we're just trying right now to get to where we have a process that we can be accountable to the community and the body, this body here, but at the same time actually benefit the community. The industrial board was created to create jobs. If you look in the Tennessee Code, that's its function, to create jobs. The property was bought out there to boost the local economy. If it wasn't, it should have never been bought. And that's what our goal, or my goal is. I won't speak for the board on that, but my goal is that needs to start benefiting the economy of Westmoreland. Yeah. However it happens. I've shared with Jerry, this isn't a fight. I'm not fighting over it. This is about, it's got to start benefiting us as a community, one way or another. Whoever's willing to invest in it is fine. But this is a hurdle right here that we need to cross to give us options, because right now we're limited, very limited with options. We do know that Ms. Frida is on the way out in a short time in here, so what we've already done is Tony's handling the minute, or our secretary's handling the minutes, handling the correspondence with the board, and doing all that. Ms. Frida is still handling the financial report, and we will try to transition that out, but that's going to be the hard part, and that's probably the most time consuming and the most responsibility to get the bills paid at the appropriate time and so forth. So we are working toward transitioning that out as well. So I won't take any more of your time tonight. I would ask that this body, at the work session, if it's possible, to have a special call meeting to take action on what I've just asked you, whether or not to provide a resolution to the industrial board to take to the county or not.
Yeah, let's do that.
It is important that you guys either support it or shoot me, or not me, but the industrial board.
Do you have a time frame for your public meeting that had been canceled?
That is on the agenda already, Brian, to discuss Monday night, to set that date, and I told Tony as he's putting the agenda together, I'd like for it to be early April.
But regardless of what's decided, I would still like for this to go through so that 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, well not 10, 5 years down the road, we're relieved of it in 2020 and it's no longer applies. But 3 years down the road, say.
Okay, if you have your public meeting in April, you want us to do a blessing on you going to the county commission with our special called meeting in April at the work study, which would probably be right after you have your public meeting, and then you'll get on.
It could be.
And then you want to be on April's agenda at the county commission, is that?
I haven't talked to I have spoken to the county, okay, and I don't want to approach them until I know what you guys are going to say. So I don't know if we'll be on the April agenda or the May agenda. But I wanted to, I'm taking this step by step. And I want you to act first, one way or the other. If you say no, there's no sense in going to the county.
My only concern is when we went to the county the last time, they asked for the financial statements and they asked for the business plan to be written, and I don't want them to have to go there with an outdated business plan and an outdated financial statements. So
we'll take care
that may take some time.
They'll take care of that.
Yeah, but that'll take some time.
They want to know what we're going to do first.
Exactly.
Right.
And we won't go to the county ill-prepared.
Yeah. I wish we could do this tonight to help them, but.
Well, I understand the procedures, and I don't want the community to feel like we're trying to pass something through. I don't mind slowing down.
Okay.
They say I want everything to be done in the open, clear as day.
I request a special called meeting for our April work study then, so we can address this that night.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. Are you going to have the resolution ready to adopt, or just do the procedure to go into a resolution?
I guess
two different things there.
Should we go ahead and I guess have the resolution ready that
Yeah,
night?
for us, as far as supporting the Industrial Development Board on the action.
Who is going to draft this resolution?
I guess the industrial board can take that on and present it to you if you'd like. I'll try to get with the county to see what kind of wording they might prefer.
Okay. If you could have it so they could send it out in our special call packet.
What's the deadline for the special? What would that be, a week from, that'd be next Thursday?
We don't per se have a deadline for the work study agenda. Correct.
If you get it to me.
Oh, a special call meeting.
Special call
John,
meeting.
would you be able to look at it if I run it by your office?
Right, and just send me an email, I'll look at it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to help them draft one.
If you can get the wording, I can do the whereas and be it resolved and stuff.
Legalese.
Mhm.
Okay.
But I don't know what you want in the wording.
Okay, and we'll discuss that Monday night and get the wording exact. I mean, even though the industrial board's already voted to do this, we'll get the wording exact and get that to you.
So the special call would be to vote on resolution number so-and-so.
Correct.
Okay.
Right, correct.
I guess as far as the industrial board goes, that's it. If I may have just another minute or two to discuss the parks. You'd asked me to get bids on the bathrooms that I shared with you, and I've asked 2 different people, and I've got one back. It does fall within the price range that we have. What I would like to do, in order to be transparent to the community, I'd like to open those bids up at the next work session. Okay, sealed bids, I don't even know what's in them. I'm gonna give the one back that I've got and say, look, wrap it up and bring it that Thursday night and see if the contractors will be here. What I need to know is what's the proper procedure here as far as how many bids do we have to open up, or do we just need to, I need to prove that we solicited so many bids? Or what, is there a limit as to what we have to do here? Because baseball season's drawing and soccer's already here. So their time is of the essence to get it done, but again, I know we need to do it right.
Let's see, with that being basically maintenance and concession stand and things like that, three bids and run it in the paper.
Well, you don't put any limit on it. Many people want to bid on it.
If
If you're going to bid it, there wouldn't be a limit.
Yeah.
you know, but Ms. Frida can help you with that. The
Just
city
do a
bids things
submission for
frequently.
bids, and whatever comes in, you consider from that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
mean,
just
even-
have the specifications for your bids.
Even here under the council, there's been lots of times we put stuff out for bid and not got, but
I
maybe
understand.
tell
Well,
you
you're at
not
least gonna
got.
get the one that I've got. Here's what concerns me, and I don't mind speaking frank about it. When you open up stuff for public bid, is there a way to narrow the qualifications down? Because there's gonna be some people that I don't wanna build this thing. They might be the low bidder, but we need a good job done.
There's no
You can create
requirement.
a scope of work.
Yeah, there's no requirement that you award it to the low bidder. It's the lowest and best bid.
Okay, I would like that to be worded that way, so that I don't like the low bidder business. You get what you pay for a lot of times.
Yes.
We need to be frugal with the city's money, I understand that completely, but a lot of that's gonna be, we're making a sizable investment, it needs to be installed correctly, or else Adam will take on another headache of maintaining it for us.
If you advertise for that bid, will that meet the deadline requirement for the next work study?
I'll have to get you something that people can come by and bid on.
Yeah, I have to have a scope of work stating the specification.
Does
Are
that
you
give them
wanting this
enough
at
time?
the
That's what I'm
work
talking
study, the ballpark stuff?
If we got enough time to get it on, like I said, you know, I've already talked to one plumber and he's given me a bid, so he's in the know. I've invited another one to come meet me and look, but he had never got back with me.
If you can get it in the newspaper or even post it by next Thursday.
Okay, well, I
And
could
then have-
probably do that, but I'm gonna have to get you a packet so that they can all be bidding apples to
Right,
apples.
right.
You might want to get with Adam too to talk to him about that. This is going to be
Yeah.
a public facility. I think you need to get him to help you with the bid process.
Okay, well, he's already seen it, you know.
Well, I just want to make sure y'all
Sure.
work together.
I understand, I understand.
We'll go by it, couldn't go fix it.
Okay, I will, I'll get with Adam on that, so, that's all I got for that. And the other thing to remember is you start to do your budgets here, I shared with Jerry. I know the sewer is still up in the air, but Little League has been saving money for 5 years now, and we're gonna have some money to come before the city and offer. And it's not a small amount, it's not a large amount, but somewhere in the middle. But, we're gonna have a sizable enough money to build some new fields. We don't have enough to do it all, but as Jerry had mentioned, maybe trying to get a grant, we've got enough to match, or not match a grant, but 20–30%, and we can get right on up there. If there's a grant that's 80–20, 70–30, with the money that we've got, could probably get a pretty sizable grant. So-
Donated time and donated labor can be part of that match as well. So.
Well, and what the plan would be is for me, or not necessarily me, but our parents can handle demolition just fine. And a lot of the skilled labor, we have people that can lay brick and lay block and concrete. I feel like I can get a lot of that done. The cost is gonna be in material, lights, and dirt. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're doing the budget. And if at all possible, I know, Brian, you like to go after grants. If you get with me, I don't mind sharing how much we've got, but I don't want to share it tonight. But you know, we're a private 501c3. We're not governed by the city, so it's our business. But I don't mind getting with you to try to. The money, the parents know we've been saving this for 5 years, 4 new fields, and so we're ready to hopefully be able to make a move on that. So just to throw that out there to you.
Park grants are 50-50.
Okay, well, if they're 50-50, then from what I've got, and the city will need to chip in some,
Yep.
and then we can probably get a pretty decent two ball fields.
We can ask Rachel next Thursday night which direction to head in that
Okay.
avenue, if that's appropriate. Yeah.
Okay, and I've already showed y'all. Well, Brian,
Yeah, I've seen it.
but y'all
I've seen
see
it.
what I'm talking about. Thank you.
Okay, one
you,
question
Randy.
before you go. There's a large pile of dirt kind of out from the LP tank at the Expo Center. Is that scrap dirt, or is that extra, or is that for a project? Or
I don't know who put that out there, but I don't think that it's.
That was supposed to be, we're supposed to take the rest of those trees off that bank next to that house and then go off in there and clear out a bunch of trees and then build it where it was easier to mow. But, I mean, we ain't had time, it's been too wet.
I didn't know if that was earmarked for something, because I had a place that was needing it if you, if it was
Meet
extra.
out there and look and see kind of what y'all want to do now on it, because that was, that was a whole different board. And
I don't know, Adam. I think that little stretch might even belong to the city instead of the Expo.
Oh, it does.
So that's not even
It
ours.
does.
Okay. I didn't know, I didn't.
But the dirt's on your land.
Well, it is, you know, but that land, what he's talking about doing, that's up to the city, that's y'all's land.
We took a bunch of trees out last year and tried to dress it. It's just, we were trying to make it look better. That's something Mike wanted to do. We were trying to make it look better, but, you know, now all that's changed hands, so y'all just, whatever y'all tell me to do.
I just didn't know if it was extra or not, and had it on my mind while
I
Andy
do
was
know
here.
We have to take some more trees out by that house, and we have to plant him some trees back. Now, there's nothing wrote up, but I was there for that agreement with that guy there, and he calls me about once a week on it, when his trees planted. I told him we'll get to it when we can, but we do have to do that, because I did hear that agreement with that guy there.
Okay.
The rest of it will be up to y'all. If y'all want me to keep taking trees out, I will. If you don't, we won't. I just know I gotta get that little section out.
Okay.
I don't see the industrial board got a dog in that fight, that's y'all's.
Very good. I just saw it for dirt over there.
your land, that's why I thought it was.
Did you get anything back on that water? You know, that you were talking about out there at y'all's meeting?
Yes, Mr. Lyles measured it for us, and so did Adam, and they agreed within 10 gallons. There's 5,300 gallons used this past week. Looking over the water usage, that's accounts for some high usage, but not all the high usages, and it'd be impossible to go back and try to determine what happened without somebody being there and knowing exactly.
But you don't think it's a leak?
No, because the prior
Good
week,
deal,
Adam
good
measured
deal,
it
good
for 3 or 4 days in a row, and without any event going on whatsoever, we used right at 100 gallons. And that's consistent with 3 or 4 people using the restroom facilities.
Okay.
Yes.
I measured it for 3 days with nobody there at all during the snow and right after the snows and stuff, and there was no leak, no water usage period in 3-day period.
Good.
So
Good.
that's good and bad news. We were sort of hoping there wasn't a leak so we could fix the high usage.
Now we can't fix the high usage.
Right, now we have to determine, we do know the mule cells are probably using between 5,000 to 6,000 gallons a weekend when they're there. But and that's something that we'll discuss Monday night, how to address it. It is about twice the minimum bill, is it not? Minimum bill 2,500 gallons?
2,000.
2,000, so it's almost 3 times the minimum bill.
Thank you.
Let me get this clarified. If you're going to award bids for the bathroom repair, you want that included as part of the special call meeting? It'd have to be on the agenda for the special call meeting if you award bids.
Will we have time to get people out there to look at it and get a quote together?
Like I said, I've already invited 2. One is done, has already done that. So, yeah, if they really want to bid, they'll make time. I'll make myself available to be there.
Okay.
And the soccer's already practicing, so I have some
Yeah, we
board
probably
members.
need to get it done, yes.
Yeah, go ahead and put that on the agenda too.
Yeah.
So right now you'll have the 2 items, the resolution and the awarding the bids. Is that correct?
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Do we need to add the parks out there to our agenda monthly so you can speak to them?
I'll commit, and if I'm here, I'll gladly report. If I'm
Okay.
not, then I won't. I've been
Understand.
sort of by de facto given the parks job. I try to say I'm only there during baseball season, and I'll be responsible during baseball season. Outside of that, I usually report and tell Mr.
Well,
Look, I'm done.
Let me rephrase that. If it's 501c3, I don't guess you really need to, but we appreciate the information that you give to
Hey,
us.
it's y'all's fields, and I understand that, and so does Little League, and we appreciate the fact that we don't have to pay for them. Of course, I would raise 3 kinds of cane if you asked me to pay for them because of the work that we do. But we don't have to pay for them. Y'all cover the lights and the water, and we have been handling the maintenance for the most part. The city in the past has bought loaded dirt here and there and some gravel last year. Once we found out there was $10,000 sitting around. Our parents and our coaches do a lot of work. I mean, if it wasn't for our parents and our coaches, then we wouldn't have what we've got. So if I'm here, I'll gladly fill you in on what's going on because we're there at least 4 or 5 months out of the year. So, and I'm there with football and everything else too, so I don't mind. But I don't want to commit to it every month.
Okay.
Our football stadium is an answer to what can be done in this community with volunteer help.
Oh yeah, that was built entirely by volunteers.
Yeah.
That's what I've told. We've got elbow grease.
Yeah.
We just like money.
Yeah.
Thank you much.
Thank you, Andrew.
I was going to try to wrap this up by 9, but it doesn't look like we're going to make it. Sewer plant operator.
I'll make it easier. I ain't got enough.
Thank you.
Public Works, Adam, I know you got some more.
Well, you're going to have to get off of them.
All right, on the situation at Station 1, Airvac came last Thursday. A guy from Airvac, he was a real knowledgeable person. Pretty much, they're supposed to have a report by now, but they didn't get it done in time, so we'll have that probably next week. And he said he just turns his information over to an engineer and he prints us out a report. He said a lot of times they might not tell every little detail in it, but pretty much the mains are way undersized, our pumps are undersized, and we've done all the figures and tested those pumps down there, and every one of them between 60 to 70% is all they're running. 3 pumps. But with one, he said we could probably get by with adding one new pump in that deal. But he said we're going to have to upgrade to a bigger size pump. We're using 400 size pumps.
You need 8.
We need 630s is what the next step up is 630s.
Oh, okay.
And he said, you know, if we're going to keep fooling with the vacuum, we're going to have to upsize everything as we go. Anytime we dig a section up, try to put bigger pipe in. Because with a 3-inch main, that's where we're having all the trouble with the rain. He said if that thing gets full, your pipes are full just instantly. He said we ought to have 10-inch mains. As many sewer pits as we got, he said we should have 10-inch mains. We got 3. He said that water fills them up, and you got no air in there to create no vacuum. You know, that's what you pump. And he said too, which I know we can't do it. He said the system this size in most towns has got 3 men to do nothing but work on that system every day. He said that's the only way you can keep up with it. As old and dilapidated as it is. Just keep people on it. We ain't been able to do that, especially not the last 3 or 4 weeks. We have been slammed. But a new 400 pump like what we got is about $18,800. A 630, which is what he recommended, is $24,000. And you could buy just the pump for the motor that's down there on the one pump that we thought only one pump was weak. Now we got 3 weak ones, so you just pick one. You know, one of them is older than the other ones, but you can put just the pump on there for $5,300. But he said he wouldn't recommend that. He said as long as that motor's been down there, it's been down there since about '98 or '99. It's about the closest guess we can get on that pump. But that's another $24,000. But that station's still not running up to 20 like it should. It will with all 3 pumps running, but it should do that with 2 pumps, not 3. Them pumps are running. One pump is running 24 hours a day. They should be running about 30. But he did say that we probably had some cracks on some lines, so start walking the lines again and listen. We're just going to take the top off of every single pit, listen, put the leak detector on it, and try to find something. You know, it's kind of hard. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. You got lines 5 feet down. It's hard to find a leak. But we're fixing to start on that next week. We had a meter reading this week, so next week we're fixing to start on that. That'll help it, but he said that one more pump would definitely make a big difference. But it's $24,000 too, so.
I know you've been terribly busy, but have you had any opportunity to work on that pay scale you was talking about?
Well, let's see. You may just go down through my list here. So I got stuff from last meeting. Y'all want me to check on a sludge truck? $120,000 from Stringfellow. And a snow plow, I checked on it today. He said 8 to 15, depending on how much hydraulic work had to be done to the truck.
Okay.
Moving hydraulics around, he said it'd be $8 to $15,000. Me and Jerry talked about checking on one of them.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to, if it does this. I mean, you know, we might not get enough snow for 5 years. I don't know, but man, you can't do it on them backhoes.
No.
You can, but when you go pushing down the road, it just rolls it right to the middle.
Y'all guys done a good job of that.
Yeah. It's hard to do much with
considering what you was doing, having to work with.
The pay scale I tried to get with some more, but I got with Lafayette. They start out at $13 an hour, whether it's meter reading, running a backhoe, whatever, $13 an hour. But I also, while I was checking with all these places, I went ahead and got their tap fees, because we were talking about maybe raising tap fees a little bit to try to help with the water situation. Lafayette inside is $1,000 and outside is $1,500. Portland didn't get back with me on that. Watertown is theirs are $11.25 inside the city and $16.25 outside the city. And I figured all of it up. I got all the quotes and prices here. It cost us about $757 to make the tap. That's counting if it takes 3 men, 4 hours, and it'll take that pretty much.
Yeah.
Unless you just get lucky, and, you know.
Don't hit no rock.
Don't hit no, yeah, don't hit nothing. It takes about 4 hours. It's, if you figure out their time at $15 an hour, and then 2 hours on the backhoe, you know, you figured up about $757, and we're charging $800. So, you know, you ain't making nothing there.
Keep working on those and bring it to the work study with you.
Okay, all right. Let's see what else we got. We were talking about putting some isolation meters on Coley Town and out toward Pleasant. They're going to put one on Pleasant Grove in the grant package. We talked to Buddy yesterday about that. But we want to put one right past Pleasant Grove that goes out the highway towards Kentucky to catch all of that, and then one on Coley Town to catch it, because we have a lot of trouble at Coley Town. But it's about $5,200 a piece for the valves, the box, the 6-inch meters, and everything. It's about $5,200. I think that's pretty well everything.
I'll tell you what you need to
But
do.
with a major leak,
yeah,
over a long time period, it's going to save us money in the long
Where
run.
it's going to help a whole lot is just in overtime looking for leaks.
Yeah.
You know, if you got a main bust out there somewhere and we go look every other place in town before we go there.
Will those meters play into the telemetry situation?
Yeah, they're going to be set up for where they can hook telemetry to them
So
when they get it done.
it'd be kind of effortless to even monitor those things.
Right.
It'd save us money there too.
We would have a reading every day on them. If that reading jumps up, we know right there we got a leak out that way. Go start looking.
Whenever you get a chance, see how what it will take to get us off. Part of that is on that galvanized pipe, and I'm sure y'all have had trouble with that galvanized. You're going to have a lot of trouble with it because it's been in there for 30 years.
Yeah.
And we've got the other line there, and it shouldn't be that much trouble. We talked about this before, getting them off of that.
Right.
Discontinue
we're
that.
checking on. We're trying to get starting towards that.
Okay,
The
good
water
deal.
loss 42 this time, but that's not really a true estimate because of last month we couldn't read the meter. We had to estimate, so the month before that was extremely low usage, and I'm sure the usage went up. So I'm gonna say that, that really ain't a true number. It probably was around 35 or 6, but I don't know that for sure. And its pumping just went down every day. I don't know if people are fixing leaks of their own or what, but our pumping just went down probably 3 hours a day, which is starting to get back in the right direction now. We just ain't had time to go look for nothing. I mean, it's too much going on.
Okay. Get all that together, and I'll get with you one day, and we'll prepare it before we do the work study. So I want to do a review of how many people that you need for each area.
Yeah. Okay. That'll work.
Okay.
See it.
Well,
good.
Those meters, they pay for their stuff and those.
Oh yeah.
Tim, do you have anything for codes and?
You man know.
Well, like Penny was saying, Ray got me out with the grants, and all those got submitted for next fiscal year. Those all look good. We'll go ahead and let y'all know. Back in December, I did got notified by the state and did put in a request for a Humvee to be used for emergency situations between us and the fire department in case of storms or any kind of disasters. And luckily, out of 25 cities and counties, we were chosen to receive one. So within the next 2 to 3 weeks, we should be getting it. So when that happens, make sure, we'll let the public know that it was received free, 100%, didn't cost the city nothing, and it will only be used for emergencies only.
It will not
Good
be
deal.
patrol vehicle.
I mean, they
Good
would be
deal.
out patrolling, it'd be shared between us and the fire department.
Where will that vehicle be located?
I think Mark's pretty well full. When it gets here, we're gonna sit down and get a plan together, on how to use it and what it's used for and so forth. But with the weather changing. We'll be picking up pretty hard on codes since the weather's starting to get.
It would be nice to have during the floods.
Will that vehicle be outfitted with sirens or decals or?
We have enough equipment to outfit it, so really we won't be out anything on it other than just routine maintenance. I mean, we'll have to drive it, at least, once a month or something, just a little bit to keep the tires.
You said routine maintenance. That reminded me. I noticed when I was reviewing the budget that the generator maintenance at the police department this year has not been spent. Has the maintenance been done on that?
It'll be done right before the budget.
Okay.
Before the end of the budget's when I have it done.
Okay.
Because I have mine and the fire department done right at the change.
That's why I said I noticed neither one of those had been spent. I was wondering
They're
if.
done every year at the same time, usually right at the 1st of June.
Okay.
They're already set up to come in. I can't give you an exact date, but it's already set for them to come in and make them. And they do their own check every day at 10:30. So.
The only other thing I had for you is, will you clean your city's website up and get the current agendas and minutes and financial reports up there? Because some of those are years old, there's not been anything put on there since then.
Updated on last, probably in November, I think. I'll get free to email me those.
And get those up to date, okay.
I think most everything else on there needs updated. I got it taken care of.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll definitely get those on there.
That's all I have.
Sorry about that this morning. I should have kept you on board with it.
Miscommunication, no big deal.
Very good.
Thank
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, I just noticed that I left off the fire
I was
report.
going to call on him right after Benny.
I'm sorry, that was
That's
my
all right.
fault.
Well, I've presented just about everything I've had with the new officer and the request for the reserve officer to go to the academy. But I would like to mention that Officer Turner went to the Governor's Highway Safety Commission meeting this week, and he did get us a grant for $5,000 that we will be receiving July 1st.
Very good.
Just want you to know that. He's right on top of things.
Very good.
And I hope real soon to make Ray second in command.
Okay.
Thank you.
Benny, I have one
Yes,
more
sir.
thing. I picked up my agenda package last Friday night, and I stepped into the police department.
I know.
Will you please take care of some maintenance issues, the floors and the walls?
We try to keep it mopped up and everything.
Okay. If you have to hire a professional to take care of the floors, and the mayor and I have already talked about it, there's money in the building maintenance fund to paint the facility if necessary.
Yeah, we've been talking about that. It needs it bad.
Okay.
Also, the ceiling in dispatch, where they stomped the ceiling with plaster, they didn't add any paint to it, and the plaster's falling. We need to get that scraped down and redone.
And one other thing, I'd like you to get with Adam to look at removing the asphalt from in front of the building where the asphalt is in really bad shape, where there's no parking, to put in a grassy area just to make the building more appealing. If you could do that. But the maintenance issues, and you know what they are. I've talked to Tim. If you could find out what that's going to cost us, or even go ahead and do it as far as I'm concerned. The money's there to do it.
Just volunteer my time and do it.
Well, the money's there to pay for the supplies you need.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mark?
I'm sorry, Mark.
You hadn't been here for 2 months, though.
I got him penciled in here.
Hey, you went here last time.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
We get you called up on reports.
You guys were busy last Monday, I commend you.
Good grief.
All right. Also have, pass this around, promised a budget request
I would like to discuss with you the next work session.
Is there anything on here that's out of the ordinary, Mark?
You.
Out of the ordinary,
You.
yeah, on the back page.
There we go. I knew they were coming.
Yeah, I just want to get a heads up. Read the back page.
180,000. Piece of cake.
Pocket change.
The two bullets on the bucket over the
All three of them are pretty good.
Mark, we'll look at this and talk about it at the work study. Something that I'm going to request of you is we had discussed a full-time person for a day shift. Consider which would mean the most to you, that person or us starting to put money back of a new engine. Because that's a call that we're going to have to make. And I don't know when to swing both of them.
Okay.
But at least we can put it in the planning stage. So, let me know what would be a priority for you.
Are you up to, are all your firemen up to date on their training? Because at one time you had a problem with getting everybody trained.
Always a problem, but yeah, it's a continuous.
And do you have enough firefighters? At one time you didn't have enough.
At times we do, and times we don't.
Do you now?
We're rotating. Per daytime, no.
Daytime, no. But
We're really hurting.
That's what's the
I
problem
know.
is.
Daytime always kills.
So you are low on manpower,
Yes.
period. Okay. That's all I had.
And Monday, I met 2 trucks going in 2 different directions at the same time. So,
But you get into that problem.
yeah.
And you got your breathing apparatuses, correct?
Did you get them?
6.
And
We
that's,
don't have them yet.
but you've got them coming. That's about a 4-year-old problem. We'll take care of that one.
It helps.
The items from the grant, they've been ordered. They haven't arrived yet though, right?
Very few.
Okay.
We have a few, but not all of them.
I knew Matt told me the other day that was still in process, so. Okay. We appreciate you, hard work.
Appreciate you, Mark. You're doing a good job.
Miss Frida?
Okay, since Mr. Poole was scheduled to be at the work study in March, and of course it was canceled due to weather. Okay, he cannot be here at the April work study. He can be here at the April regular meeting, or he can be here at May work study. And he suggested maybe the May work study, and that way you all would be into the budget, and if he could help you with any questions regarding the budget, he would be glad to do so. But I just need to get back with him and give him a date on when you all would like him here.
Work
That's
study.
appropriate.
The May work study?
May work study be sufficient.
Yeah.
We've talked about this in the past, that the time frame to replace our auditor is a narrow window.
Yeah.
Do you know if we were going to go with another auditor in November, the time frame that we'd have to do that in?
You'd have to submit bids for auditors.
Okay.
That's
And I know in the past, we didn't receive any bids when we
and
had
then you have
solicited.
to have it,
Yes, yes, that's right.
you have to have approval from the comptroller's office too. The contract has to be signed with the municipality and the auditor
And
to
correct me
do
if
the physical year audit.
and correct me if I'm wrong, we can get a more in-depth audit from Mr. Poole, provided we are bidding to pay for that audit. Is that correct? If we want a more detailed audit, or does he just meet the state's mandate for the requirement?
I don't know what you're referring to in more detail, because he does a complete detail audit now
Okay. Well, I didn't
on all
know.
financials and
Okay. I know we've looked at it in the
per the
past.
state requirements.
And for additional fees, he would look more in depth at certain things, but I don't remember the details. So that was my question. So, okay. But I know we've talked about it in the past about needing a new auditor. And like Mr. Bradley said, he was the only one that bid it because of the price that we paid for it. So.
And that's the problem with your smaller towns. We've discussed this a lot at our finance meetings. You know, you've got certain one that's kind of designated to smaller manufacturers, cities, and because of their pricing. And then when you start looking at other options, you're going to double, triple the price for an auditor. So it just depends on what you can pay.
I know Mr. Bradley has explained to us in the past that if, say, Mr. Poole is our auditor now, he cannot represent us or he can't do any other functions under financial assistance. So that's why so many auditors don't want to do it to begin with, because it knocks them out of a lot of other business that
They
they
have
can
a
actually
conflict of interest there.
conflict
They'd
of
be auditing
interest.
their own work, and they couldn't do that, right?
Yeah, so they just, a lot
Stick
of
to
them
where
just
they're
don't do
at.
it. Yeah.
But there is a process to go through. If you did change auditor, it would have to go through a contract through the comptroller's office and approved by both parties and the state. Also today, GNRC sent some the grants that are available for their local governments for the economic and community development. I'm just going to pass you all out some that you can review, and just keep in mind, any grant with CDBG, you cannot reapply if you've got an open grant with them. But once that grant is closed out, then you can reapply for the next year. And it gives you details on it, so y'all can just review that. I got that later this afternoon. I think it was something from you all's meeting today. Yeah. Jerry, thank you. Just for your review. And we are, over in City Hall, we're keeping a rough sketch log of people that come in at the door between 7:30 and 8, since we have changed our office hours, and then the ones that would come at between 4 and 4:30. And after the time frame's up, we can report to you and tell you how that comes out. We have had 4 or 5 calls complaining because we weren't open at 7:30 because they like to come in before they go to work. We haven't had any calls saying they like the 4 to 4:30, so I don't know on that. But it doesn't matter with us, but we are kind of logging it so we'll have an idea.
You're monitoring the credit card usage, correct?
Yes, I am. And Scotty got with me, and there was a code within the WorldPay software that they had set at a higher level for some reason. They have recently got that corrected. So we may see partial month of March come down, but half of it will be at the higher rate. So that was their fault, not ours, and they did find that when his guy was researching it.
Good.
Don't have anything for me?
Did you get a copy of Ms. Freeman's resignation letter in her email?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I
I
want
did.
to make sure. That's all I have to bring up at the end. We will have a position open. You have a copy of her letter stating her resignation. I had told her that we were wished her to reconsider, and she had until the meeting to think about it because she didn't have a official date of resignation. So what we'll do is as the council has done in the past, anyone that is eligible to hold a public office that is interested in the position on the council, they can make I'm going to say make application, but I'm not going to require anyone do a resume or what have you. If you would just contact your council members and myself, or if you want to come to the work study, and we'll discuss that, because we will fill the open council seat at the next regular meeting per the charter. So we regret to see Miss Dawn leave us, but she had some other things that she wanted to take care of and had a reason. So we appreciate her service to the city. She had a lot of knowledge and a lot of expertise working with the city of Goodlettsville. So we hate to lose her, but we wish her well on her future endeavors. And there again, we will replace the council seat member on the next regular meeting.
You might add that that position would be through the end of 2016.
Yes. Yeah, whatever her term is.
Yeah, at the end of her term. Anyone that might be interested.
Got her, you have it.
Anything else? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We're out of here.